Hello, welcome back to part 19 of this video tutorial how to build a Pacman game in XNA. Please don't forget to buy the content. Send €2.95 to PayPal account XNAPacman 2013 at hotmail.com. We send the content in 24 hours to your email address. In this tutorial we're gonna finish our tile list. But before we're going to do that, I want to add the game state to our game class. So let's do that. And we need to do that outside the game class. So it's in the namespace. And it's a public enum game state. And we have three game states. The first one is MapBuider. We have collision, and we have the dots editor. Alright. That's the game state. And now we have to define the game states in our game. So we're going to do that in the public section. And we can say here public game states. And we call it game states. And we're going to say it's equal to game state MapBuider. Alright. Represents the game states. And now we can draw the game state on the screen. So let's go to the draw section. And let's clean the draw section up a little. So we can say here draw grids, tile strip, tiles, and cursor. Right. And now we can draw here, draw map coordinates. And it's the game states. And here at the top we can say draw the game states on the screen. And the first thing we need is a string. And we call it the status string, and that's equals to if game state is equals to the game state's MapBuider, then we're gonna draw MapBuider. Otherwise, if game state is equals to game state collision, then we draw collision map. Otherwise, we can draw dots editor. Right. And now we can draw the string on the screen with sprite pads draw string. We're going to use the HUD font. And we're going to draw the status string. And we're going to draw it on position. So new vector 160 0. Right, and the color is white. Right, let's see how this looks. Right, and now you can see we are in the map editor mode. Alright, press escape. And now it's time to add new tiles and delete tiles to the tile list, but we're gonna use our left and right mouse button. So we need the current and previous mouse states first. So let's define private variable, and we can define here the private mouse states, and we call it the current mouse state, and we need a private mouse state previous mouse state. Right, represents the current mouse state represents the previous mouse state. Alright, and now we have defined, we can in the update say get the keyboard and mouse states. Right, and then we can say get the current mouse states. So current mouse state is mouse get state. Alright, and at the end set the previous keyboard and mouse state. Set the previous mouse state. So previous mouse state is equals to the current mouse state. Alright, and now we have our current mouse state and the previous mouse states. We're gonna think about to add and delete tiles to our tile list. And before we can do that, we need to check if we are inbound to grid. So let's do that here. Check if we are inbound the grid. So we can say here that if the cursor position dot x is greater than 160 and the cursor position dot x is smaller than 609 and cursor position dot I is greater than 47 and cursor dot position dot I it's smaller than 5 to 9, and then we are inbound the grid. So we can only add and delete tiles when we are with the cursor in or on the grid, right? And not outside the grid. So when we are inside the grid and we press the left button, so if the left button is pressed, then add a new tile to the tile list. Right? Now we can say here that if the current mouse state left button is equal to the button state pressed, and the previous mouse state left button is equals to the button state released. And if so, we can say add the tile to the list, right? And if we want to press the right mouse button, we're gonna delete a tile from the list. So if the right mouse button is pressed, then delete tile from the list. If current mouse state dot right button is equals to the button state pressed, and the previous mouse state right button is equals to the button state released, we can say delete tile. And now we have to pass a factor 2 for the position. So new factor 2. And we can say cursor position dot x minus the game 1 dot tile size, and the cursor position dot I. Right, and now when we run this, we can draw tiles on the screen. So let's say we're gonna draw with the left mouse button, and we're gonna delete with the right mouse button, just like this. So we can draw a line, a double line, press the key to toggle the grid, and there we have the line. And if you press the right mouse button, we'll delete, right? And just the way, this is the way we're gonna draw the background. So in the next tutorial, we're gonna build the save method to save our screen, and then I'm gonna explain you how to build the background. So I hope you enjoy, and I see you in the next tutorial. Bye.